been a while since I posted. I've had a lot going on. If you have watched my video, I replaced the cowl panel and found some rust on the shoulders, replaced both shoulders, put a smooth firewall in, and I have been in the process of blocking it, getting it flat as possible. This is one of the firewalls off of eBay. They're like $500. If you look, it's hard to probably tell out the motor in it, but if you look off the center, it actually looks like it's more offset to the passenger side, and that's just the way it came. They say it's for a big block. I'm assuming the way the big block sits in there, it's got to be offset. I'm not sure. I don't know, but either way, with the ls3 in there, it actually looks like the motor is more to the driver's side. It's really not. Not sure what that's going to look like, but it's in there, and that's what it's going to be. There's the PSI harness. I already have it ran inside. I have it taped up so it don't get painted. Bought a set of 2012 Camaro SS seats. I'm going to cut the that lower back piece off, so when you put the seats in there, the top of the backs is actually almost perfect. And when you cut that bottom off and set it in there, it's not going to be like fully, 100% right, but it's going to look good. And I mean, somebody can still sit back there, but the bottom would never be able to be bolted on once you cut that lower back off. So I'm going to put like a little box or something underneath so it ain't so floppy. And here's the PSI fuse box. I drilled holes, I don't know if you can see those, into the vintage air AC bracket, and that's what it's going to look like in the glove box. And your fuse box for the engine bay will be right there, and then your other fuse box for the you can't see it, is up there. That's for the interior body wise. And here's my plug for the computer. Sits up in here, up high, because you'll never probably have to go back to it. And the Dakota Digital box is back there. I don't think you can see anything. I don't have my flashlight on, but when you put the ls3 6L80 in first gen Camaro, you have to split to about right here. You have to split the top of that tunnel, and how it has got a curve like this, you gotta kind of box it. Like, I don't know if you can tell. I'll get a flashlight. I've been bad about not filming here lately. I'm just kind of on the spur at the moment. But it's probably gonna be really dusty in there because we've been doing a lot of sanding, and I have not blown this car out since we started on this. But there you go. That's what it'll sit like. And so what I've done was, I don't know if you noticed, I'll show you that. When you put the vintage air on, it bolts to the firewall. I'm sure if you're watching this, you're aware. It bolts to the firewall. You have the plate cover goes over it. Well, notice I don't have any bolt holes. What I done was I took the vintage air engine bay bracket, I welded it on the inside to the inside of the firewall, and made studs off of it. This is actually, the bottom of this is actually up about 4, maybe 5 inches than normal. I wanted so if somebody tall was riding, their feet wouldn't hit it, just whatever, it looks good. So, I don't know if you can see. There you go, bam. There's the interior fuse box. And, yeah, it's a lot of wiring. So, you get the idea. But back to what there's where the, can you see that back there? There's where the PSI harness comes in. You'll never see it. I'm real picky about hiding everything. I know you can't tell right now because shit's everywhere. But anyways, back to this, is I split it, and then I made 5 plates out of, I think 14 or 16 gauge steel, really thick. I mean, it's thick. It's thicker than the car was. And I'm real bad about welding solid. I welded it solid all the way up and shaped it. It was real hard to shape. I don't know if you can tell. Try to get You cannot bend this by hand. You have to put it on something and beat the hell out of it. Sorry. If you look up in there, I'll turn it sideways. See how I kind of got like a little arch and it gets kind of higher as you go. And that top piece up there is actually pie cut about 3 pieces to get the transition from here, kind of transition it up to the firewall. But you get the idea. It'll look a lot better with carpet and not so dusty. And here's the ls3 6080. I got the sanding compressor. I use a KWIK performance bracket. It actually does not go with this kit. Everything else is HOLLEY. I'll show you the part numbers. This is for the high mount accessory drive, very expensive shit. Got by the spacers and everything. HOLLEY made a mistake. Make a long story short, they wound up sending me a HOLLEY water pump, a HOLLEY alternator. That's like a mid 2000s truck alternator, and that's, I don't know, like maybe a 2010 ls3, something like that truck, 2012 maybe, truck water pump. The power steering pump and tensioner is off a 97 Corvette along with a bottle. It's pretty much the only thing that'll fit inside that bracket. And look at the problem you have. So if you run all HOLLEY, you'll be fine. You try to run HOLLEY with a different name brand, look, can you see that? Look at the AC and the tensioner. Look at the water pump, look at the accessory drive, how off it is. And all it is a bunch of spacers. You see how they come with this? They come with the vintage air. It's not my choice, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. So what I done was, I bought some of this aluminum 1-inch, the same exact thing that's on there pretty much. I bought them, I'll cut it to length. I was using a chop saw a minute ago and the brand new blade come apart. And so I'm gonna go to a buddy's shop and use his bandsaw. But yeah. And then I got some longer bolts from Ace to go to the head. Not very expensive. But yeah, it's coming together. Looks pretty cool. There's a lot of money sitting there. And of course, I'm gonna touch base on this. I'm not sure if you know, but the ls3, from experience and from people I've talked to over the years, an ls3, I don't know about other LSs, but I know for sure the ls3 and the 6.0s, they need that steam port, 100% sure. So on the ls3, it runs from both front sides of the head, and it goes to the bottom of the, you know, some of them go to the bottom of the throttle body, some actually run back to the radiator. Well, the radiator on the Camaro don't have that extra port on the radiator. So what I do is I just buy those cheap little, I don't know, $30, $40 bypass. Well, it's not really bypass. Steam port, whatever. Anyways, buy it from there, and I get a tap and tap into the tallest part on the water pump, and it just recirculates the top of the, like the top of the head, you know, obviously is the hottest, you know, coolant. So it just keeps it recirculated. They say on the LS, you know, if it stays, I guess, you know, this motor's gonna be sitting with a little more incline than it probably was in the car. But I guess when it sits level, I guess the air pocket stays on the back too, 7 and 8 cylinder. I just know you see a lot of back blown head gaskets on ls3s for some strange reason. I don't know if that's just me or what, but then I got the strange 1350 yoke made by Sonex. They're like $215. And I got the, I don't know if you can see that or not. Got it 6 a.m. So, but yeah, there she is. See where I'm at? There is 4.8 I got. Come out of my daily driver. I have a 06 crew cab Silverado. Had the 4.8 and it had a little tick, and oil pressure slowly is getting lower and lower. So I decided to pull the motor out, find a 6.0. I thought it was a great deal. And bought the 6.0 and I put a Torker V4 cam, ported polished heads, the works. I went and had those all done the next day after I put it in. It's a brand new transmission. These people have a really good rating. they're known for their 4L60s holding up to 700 horsepower. So a guy in North Alabama, very reasonable too at that. He guarantees them. This exact transmission, the shop that I got it from, they've said they've ran about 40 to 50 at 500 plus wheel horsepower. So strange. But anyways, so I put my motor transmission in on a Saturday. Monday I go get it, the exhaust ran. Tuesday I put the Walbro 255 pump in, and then Wednesday I go to hit the dyno, and we're on the second pull, and we kept noticing the numbers didn't look right, and right before he's about to do a third pull, we heard some screeching. Well, I didn't hear it actually. The guy does the dyno, it was a tuner. He heard a screeching, and he said, "What was that noise?" And I said, "I didn't hear anything." And I got eagle eyes, and I can hear really well, and I didn't hear it. He jumped out and said, "Hey, there's something screeching," and we started listening, and we thought it was a lifter. So we shut it off, and we got the truck and trailer. I loaded it up, brought it home. Well, I take the heads off, thinking it was a lifter. Well, no lifter. Lifters look they look perfect, just like when I put them in. I'm sure some of y'all are aware. Finding legit AC Delco or Delphi injectors is nearly impossible. Everything's coming from China. But anyways, there's my Wilkes Performance racing heads. See how black they are? Had a terrible oxygen sensor issue from here to the tuner. I'm about to clean that up. It was running rich as hell. Anyways, so on the second pull, well, right before the third pull, he heard the noise, so we shut it off. I get it home. Lifter's gone. I mean, lifters are fine. Cam's fine. So I said, "What's the deal here?" So I start tearing it apart, and I take the motor out, and I started noticing more and more shavings. Well, I take the rods off, and number one had spun on the dyno. For whatever reason, the machine shop that put my cam bearings in, they used a scuff pad to clean the bore inside where the cam bearings sit, and I guess a piece of the scuff pad fell off in my oil pan I wasn't aware of, and that, along with the assembly lube, packed the crank on number one rod, and sure enough, spun a bearing on my brand new motor. So I'm currently I'm having the crank redone, oversized bearings, unfortunately, and pretty sure I'm gonna go with the 408 stroker on it. Should have it back in probably another week or two, but yeah. Wilkes is in Gadsden, Alabama. He does probably the best porting and polish. He actually done Texas Speed their heads for many years until I guess he gave the contract up. And there's the Dakota Digital gauges for the Camaro. I know I ramble a lot, just this is how I am. And this is another project. It's my father-son type deal. It's really my dad's, but I put a little skin in it with him and kind of talked him into getting it. And yes, that tire's low, but it's actually got an LS1. I'll show you. Let me pop. Yeah, the way the hood latches on this Nova, I have this screwdriver. It was bent. I don't know what it was used for, but I put some tape on it and I stick it through the grill and I pull it because I have skinned the hell out of my knuckles. I got little short, fat-ass fingers. But yeah, my dad's been wanting a Chevy II since he was a teenager. He had quite a few of them. It's pretty clean. It's got ghost flames on it. I'm not real big on the ghost flames on the front. You can actually only see them with a light. You really don't even see it, but it's got a lot of pearl. This car turns more heads than any car I've ever been in or been around. I'm gonna probably, I'd say probably when I get my truck finished, we're gonna pull the motor and transmission out, and I'm gonna, if you look across the top where they put the shaved firewall type deal in, they welded on the inside, what I'm guessing, and I guess they just said the hell with it and painted over it. We're gonna pull it out. I'm gonna smooth that out real good, more than likely, and I'm gonna paint the motor. I'm gonna pour and polish the heads and put probably a stage 3 cam in it and a new clutch. Yes, I said clutch. It is an LS1 with a 6-speed, and it is fun. Look how dirty I've got it lately. It's a fun little car. I really enjoy it. It's got GTO seats in it, front and rear. We're taking it to, I think three car shows. Won a trophy at all three. Won first place at one and up the road at a car show I've never been to, and this is one up the road at a tire place. He won best paint. Yeah, so that's the Chevy II. I'll be posting more about it, I guess, on in the summer. I'm kind of cramming a lot into this little video because I feel like I don't have a lot of followers on here. I don't really advertise a lot. I really just like to post stuff so I can go back and watch things I do in the future, because my phone is full of videos from stuff I do already. I want to show you something about this car. My dad wanted me to build him a Chevy II, and I just told him, let's just buy one. Like, it's so much easier. And yes, look at these quarters. Look at that. Look at that quarter. There's the roof. It's what you call Block City. Whoever did it, it's supposed to be a Connecticut car or some shit like that, but I don't know. But they took this bad boy to Blocktown. They did a good job. The doors got a couple little waves to them. Don't really care. We drive this thing like I've had heads in the back of this car. It's a machine shop. But the thing I like about this car the most, and we actually have the parts to fix it, I just haven't done it yet, is look at this shit. This shop did all this nice work. Put some random ass, I don't know what that is, material, and put it down Walmart Pioneer radio. Just some piece of crap in the dash. Look at that. I would never in my life do something like that. But we actually have a new dash. I mean, we have a new glove box, and I have a factory radio I'm going to put in it. Just got to do it. And yes, it has vintage AC. And like almost all car builders, they don't finish it. So I got to run the AC too. But that's that. So you can kind of see the flames, you look a certain way. So you can barely, it's only on the hood and the fenders. Then you light it up and it's there. And I'm sure, I think you've probably seen some of my videos. This is my 57 I built from the ground up. 100%. I've actually built this truck, I think 3 times probably. Got it back from, well, I had it painted in, I want to say, I think it was May. Had a couple dings, and the PPG 2021 or 2120 whatever, it shrunk like nothing I've ever seen before. We painted, it was probably 92, 93 degrees that day. We think the heat got to it. So around, I think it's about August, I just woke up and I decided, let's just redo this. And this is actually SPI. My buddy, the painter, taught me to doing it. This has not been buffed. It hasn't been buffed at all. It's shrunk a little bit. It's hard to get a video. It's got so much dust on it from sitting. Like, this truck it's sad. Anyways, the day after got it back from the paint booth, I'm on the way home, and I told him I just didn't like the way the hood was doing. The hood latch felt very strange from the jump. That's the same one. I just didn't like the way it felt. It just didn't do right. You actually had to stick your hand under and latch it back yourself. I didn't like that. So I tried to kind of hint around to me leaving the truck until I got another hood latch. He didn't really go for that, so he needed room. So I brought it home, and on the way home, the brakes on my truck that I've been using for years lock up. I almost wrecked. This truck rolls up, almost goes over the front of my trailer, hits my winch. Surprisingly, didn't do anything, no damage at all. I don't know how. Well, the next day I wanted to pull out in the sun and just let it back in the sun. Right there at the top of my driveway. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just wanted to pull it right up there. The main highway is over there. Well, it's a pretty day, and a friend I hadn't seen in a pretty long time, the one that actually got me this paint, he shows up and says, "Let me hear that thing, I ain't got to hear it." So I drive it, I don't know, 300-400 yards down the road to this church right down here. And there's people in the parking lot. So I said, well, I'll just go ahead and go on a little farther and get on the main highway. And just turn around and come right back here and pull in. Well, I got down there to the end, and I couldn't see back this way, so I said, I'll just go ahead and go on down that way to Texaco. So I pull out, I hammered the hell out of it, and I mean, this truck's got ls3, a built ls3, so you can imagine how fast it gets up. Got it really fast. I let off of it. I mashed the brake. I'm probably maybe going 30, 25 or 30, and two semi trucks come blowing down the road one after another, and you can guess what happened. That hood latch was never latched all the way. Picked the hood up, blew it in my face, smashed the cab, destroyed the whole roof. I'm talking about it sunk the roof in. I'm not even going to post pictures because I don't really want it to be, I mean, not on my page. But had to, I could have got the dent out, so could my friend. We just knew it'd take a long time. Took it to the guy up the road in Gadsden, Alabama. He actually dollied the dents out 100%. This roof over there on that side, I know it kind of looks like it's wavy. It's not. It's where the Bondo, we haven't finished smoothing across here. It's not the truck. It's actually just a little bit of glaze. But anyways, over here on this side, man, it looked like somebody took a hatchet and just murdered the roof on both sides from where the little things right there hit it. And yeah, so he got that out, and I brought it home and I started welding there. Trying to put this new piece in right here. Welding there. Burned a hole, burned a hole, burned a hole, burned a hole. Went up all the way down here on both sides. Everything you see from about right here to right here is actually made. I made that from tiny little pieces of metal about the size of your thumb, just all the way up. I went through about 30 grinding discs fixing this spot right here. It's ridiculous. And if you look, you can see it was hit right there. If you look, you can see just a little bit of drop. Strangely, that was actually there before the accident. I don't know why. I don't remember why it happened, but it was there before. I have pictures before. So tiny little drop down. And you're thinking, oh, that's terrible. No, it's not. The windshield covers that. And so does the rubber. So, but you get the idea. I'm just showing you some of the toys. I don't never post nothing about them no more. So, it's beginning of January. I'm hoping by midsummer I'll have the wheels. I have a lot of problem finding the exact wheels. I want to run 20 by 14s on the rear, but there's just not a lot of options. Not for the style wheels I run. I don't run those stupid, I can't remember the name brand that everybody runs. Boyd Cottingham or whatever, and there's another one. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. Everybody runs them on 20s. I'm not running. I don't do that. Here you go. All the gauges, everything. She's all my wiring, by the way, is under the dash. So kind of like a trademark of mine. I'm real OCD. I don't have any wires showing on anything I ever build. You'll never see no wires other than the obvious wires on top of the motor. But you'll never just see a wire hanging nowhere. It's dirty as hell. I mean, we've been sanding right here. And look at the cars. And the guy that helps me, which is like my brother, I think he leaves the curtain back when he comes over and helps just for the hell of it. He likes bothering me. So, but that's currently where I'm at. There's the front seats. I'm not real sure what I'm going to do because the way the bottom is, it's got a hook on the Camaros that goes to the floorboard and just a bolt in the rear on both sides holds it. I'm going to try to come up with something better. I'm not sure yet, but follow me. I guess a few days I'll be posting maybe the motor and transmission will be in that car and be painted. Y'all have a good first of the year.